Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Inter Miami Show. I'm Brandon Griffin, and with me, as always, is my main man, Mike. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. TJ's jumped on already. Wish me good luck. So we know this is gonna be a good
Love it.
show. Come on, we started off the season 1-0. Now, to be fair, this is the second season in a row we've done that, so we're 2 years running now. But what's really exciting, I don't know the exact stat, but apparently RSL had won their past 14, I believe, season
14,
openers,
yeah.
and this is the first
Yeah.
time. So, man, hell of a night last night. We had a blast. Hopefully, everyone listening today also listened last night because we went live, well, semi-live. We recorded at Drive Pink and immediately uploaded it, so live-esque.
At Chase Stadium, not Drive
Chase,
Pink.
thank you, Chase. It's gonna take a while.
I know.
But yeah, we recorded at Chase, had a little bit
Yeah.
of fun. I remember 90% of that recording. I think we might have forgotten a few things. But yeah, well, I think it's exciting. We got some
Listen, man,
stuff to talk about from last night and jump into. We're jumping right into game 2 on Sunday.
for those that are listening and have not come and hung out with us, you got a glimpse into tailgate Brandon and Mike. Like, that's us at the stadium having a good time and just having fun with it. And so, we're playing around with the structure. Structure will change a little bit, but yeah, we're probably going to do it again because it was well received and we had a lot of fun with it. And man, it just felt good to be back in the stadium and come away with a win.
By the way, let me show off my Real Salt Lake scarf.
Love it.
I did a jersey swap with Mark from Real Salt Lake. He was on Anthony's show last week. We met up. We did a little jersey scarf swap. So I got a new one to add to the collection. Now it is going in the collection side of we kicked your butt and it started the season. So it's a good one to start with.
Hell yeah, man. It definitely is. I mean, we might as well just jump right in, right? Our Salt Lake City or Salt Lake recap.
So let's go. Let's do it. So actually, no, hold on. One thing I really want to call out. So we always start out with season ticket holder news. They started the loyalty program at the stadium last night. Now, a lot of people didn't see it. And frankly, none of us know what it is. But I did get my check-in last night. So, by the way, the check-in process is horrible. You have to log. You go in the app. Then you have to log back into Ticketmaster. So, like, you're already logged in. You have to log into Ticketmaster. And then you go up to a screen and you scan it. I got one. I did hear someone say that because it was so screwed up, everyone who just went to the stadium officially gets a check-in. I am curious how serious to take this because I know I won't be for the March 30th game. So I'm curious if I'm going to make Joe Kerr or you go scan in for me for the March 30th to pretend I got it. But yeah, so sorry. Just want to stay. I mean, we always start out with transfer news. Well, we didn't have any of that, thankfully. Season ticket holder news. Now let's jump into the Real Salt Lake recap, man. Let's jump right in.
Yeah. We'll start off with starting lineup. I hate to say it, but I almost nailed it. Almost.
I mean, I had more of the top half. I had the front three. You had the bottom four.
You say that. Here you go.
I had the front three.
Yeah.
Taylor, Suarez, and Messi. You had the bottom four. And we met in the middle.
Well, yeah, because I missed Ruiz there too.
You got Ruiz. So we both got one wrong in the middle.
Yeah.
I didn't have Gressel in the middle.
Yeah.
I had Gomez and Busquets. So we split this one.
Now, based off of, we did an analysis of like who was going to be on the bench and, no, I'm just kidding. We didn't do that, but it's a good lineup.
Okay. I will say I had one complaint. I think anyone who's been watching the show knows I have lost faith in Gressel. Joker, I think, pointed out to me that it's only one official game, and I've already lost faith in a player, but I'm counting all of the horrible preseason games where he looked lost.
He's counting practice, guys.
Yeah, again. I am. Have you ever seen? He
said if we win, he would forget about preseason, and here we are in preseason again.
Well, no, because Gressel was just as bad in the pitch last night as he was in all preseason. He looks like John Travolta from Pulp Fiction out there, completely lost. He has like one great cross of the night, and he did have a great cross. He had a
decent shot too.
Didn't go in. Doesn't count. He had one great cross from really, it was beautiful. It was like one side of the field all the way to the other. I think it landed at Messi's foot. Like, it was a beautiful cross. But that was the only thing he did. But
I
besides
think it's
that,
gonna take time. You got to let the guy settle, man. You got to let the guy settle a little bit. It's time to develop that chemistry, and he did not look good. Nobody could say he looked good. He had moments.
yeah.
He had probably 3 moments. I think that I said if he can keep stringing these together, I think we might have something. But
Look, man, my alter ego is calling him trash. And when an
well,
11-year-old calls someone trash, you know it's true.
mm,
So let's get into the game.
you
So
say so.
let me do a recap. I'm guessing most of our listeners have seen the game, saw the score. Let me cover a couple things. So we won 2-0. First goal comes out of, on the show last night, I called this a banger from Taylor. Banger's
Yeah,
probably not the
watching
right
it
word.
back, it wasn't
Like
a banger.
the keeper should have had this. Like, it was in their arms. It got right under the keeper's arms. Still, he came in. Taylor did Taylor things. Side note: the guy behind me before the game goes, "Let's make a little bet. Who's going to score first?" He went Suarez. I won Taylor. Pretty sure he owes me a drink. Unfortunately, I think he said he's going to send guy from the Northwest Club. So I'm like, it's not costing me anything. But I called that one. But yeah, Taylor did Taylor things. This is why I included him on my starting 11, because I thought he would do Taylor things, and he's still
Yeah.
doing Taylor things. I think he's just such a huge part of the lineup. And it was said in one of the Discords that you and I participate, or a tweet last night, like, to see an original, like essentially an original Miami guy score the first goal of what could be our historic season was awesome. And I think that's a huge like way to kick it off. The crowd got into it. The fans, the team got into it. And the first half, the first half was just like, that was probably the most fun 45 minutes of soccer I have had as an Inter Miami fan. We had 7 shots, 4 on goal. I don't think offensively you could complain about anything in that first half. What do you think, Brandon? Like, was there anything?
If you want to get nitpicky, you can. There were some chances we should have converted. We could have easily gone in at half, up at least 2, maybe 3. I don't think Taylor's the one that's out when Redondo comes in, Mike. I think Redondo probably slides in there. I think we see Gressel go back to right back, but we'll see.
That'd be my guess.
Who
Too.
knows
right
what
back
happens in the mind of Tata? I didn't
We
think
were
he
pretty
had
close.
it in him until last night. He had great lineup. And tactically you put players in good positions outside of Gressel. So hats off to Tata for
All right,
once. And pains me.
So yeah, so it's fair. Like, nitpicky. First game of the season, still some rust on us. It wasn't great. Messi, I think it was the first half. Messi got denied one shot where, like, it was point blank range, and the goalie just made a save. And as I was watching that save, Branton, you said something a couple times, and I'm just going to keep repeating it. Every team is going to give us their best, and it's clear.
Yep.
Clear last night. That's the best RSL is going to do. I know they're going to build into the season forever, but they played at the top of their abilities. That goalie, like, hats off to him. He played as good as he was going to play, and it was a fantastic performance.
Yeah. And like I said, like, it's every team's Super Bowl to beat Messi, and for us it's just another game. So it was good to see the team come out. Like, they came out fighting. Ball movement looked good, passing looked good. And the second half it was more glaring, but there were a couple moments in the first half where the defending left something to be desired. But it wasn't appalling. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't as bad as we thought it would be. And exactly kind of like I broke it out. Like, what we kept seeing is we were attacking the defense and getting in behind them and kind of pushing around their center backs a little bit too. And we played a very physical game inside the box, I thought, and I think that really, really helped us in this game. And I loved seeing Robbie Taylor score the first goal. And Robbie Taylor did a lot of really great things in the first half with the ball. I love when he gets the ball in some space and he can kind of do some stuff, and he almost makes more people miss than Messi. Like, he's pretty close.
So Hoffmat asked us, do you think other teams will play free kicks the same way as RSL with two defenders opposed? And I wanted to call this out. And I think this again goes back to you're playing their best. This is I actually did some research on this. Teams have used this against Messi before, which they basically
Mhm.
you have the keeper in the center, and then you put a defender at each post to defend against that corner
it
shot, and it worked. It worked great.
Yeah.
Like the guy had the header out. What's awesome is, first off, again, kudos to MLS that these teams are ready for Messi. Like this is going to be a fun but hard season. But it also means when you're
Well, let's
putting
not say
two guys,
kudos to MLS. Like, kudos to Real Salt Lake. They were ready.
well,
We
but
don't we don't know what the other teams are gonna do.
that's fair. But what I'm calling it is the problem is there's like it's chess moves, right? If you're gonna do that, well, now you've got only 8 guys up front defending, 10 to, our 10, and you know what the next thing's gonna happen? Short pass. Now your defenders are all out of position, and then we go in. So I thought it was great. I had personally never seen that defense before, but I did think it was masterful. And then again, I saw teams did that against Barcelona too, but we will see that again. And then if they
Yeah.
do that, we're gonna just do a short, something shorter and put it, now you have defenders out of position and we're gonna take a close range goal.
Yeah. It's a good tactic to use, and Real Salt Lake in the played as well defensively as I think they could have. I think their center backs and their keeper had a career game. Like, I don't know. I didn't know much about him coming into this game, but he impressed the hell out of me for sure. He denied Suarez, I think, 2 or 3 times in the first half alone.
Yeah, he was all over the place. The other guy really got caught. So I want to say in the first half for now. I thought Toto played fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know you asked me who was my man of the match last night. I actually don't remember who I answered. But Toto, as I was kind of rethinking it, Toto felt like the man of the match. I know he got injured late in the second and came off.
Yeah.
But the way he was tracking back, like so my seat's just kind of caught where I sit. I sit on the 18-yard line on the north side. So I was on the defensive side the first half. There was multiple times where we were in man disadvantage, 3-on-2, 4-on-3, and Toto was sprinting back and made the final play, sometimes inside the 18. And like that kind of work rate is going to matter. Someone asked me today, does Miami play a counter press defense? And I don't really think we do. I think it's kind of a byproduct of how high our line is. I think it's more that it's like a desperation move to, like, the ball's going like step forward because I can't go back. But Toto made some fantastic runs back. The other defender we got to call it is Sergey. Branton, you and I were walking in the stadium, and I was saying I thought Sergey was injured. I don't understand this. That man looked like he was 5 years younger, 10 years younger last night. I think he had all of his legs under him. He looked really good.
He looked a little quicker.
Yeah, he did.
Could have just been me, but I that's why I was saying, like, the defense was solid. Like, I don't think thanks, Joe. Yeah, I don't think that they were great. But I think that they showed they can be good enough for us to win games. And they kept the clean sheet. I mean,
Yeah,
that's big too. Calendar didn't have to do it by himself.
he had one
He
bad
had
kick.
covered. Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is normally when we keep a clean sheet, it's because Calendar blocked 38 shots. And that wasn't the case. The defense kind of helped him out. There was good communication. When I watched it back today, like, you can see them, they have a bond. They have a familiarity with each other now, and it'll be interesting to see when I'm gonna say it wrong again, but when Freire comes in, it'll be interesting to see how he adds to that dynamic, and if he does end up taking Sergey's spot. But right now, I think Toto and Sergey are the two to beat. They look good together.
So real quick, it's TOTO. It's Toto. It's the nickname for Avilés, our one of our center backs. I disagree, though. You made the comment, Branton, that it wasn't a great performance.
It wasn't.
Let me say that I think in absolute terms, fine. It wasn't a great performance. It wasn't a great defensive performance. But in terms of what we're going to see from our defense, I think that's one of the better defensive games we're going to have. I think the team played, specifically in the first half. The team kept the ball from getting near their calendar. They were running everyone down. When they got attacked, they were in
Well,
position. Like they were
yeah,
positionally
but
aware.
you also have to look. You also have to look at the way RSL lines up, like a single attacker, and so it's
You play what you get, though.
they played well, right? But I still have concerns about how this defense will stack up when it's like a full press.
Yeah,
So
but
we'll see what that is. They had a good game. They had a good
yeah,
game.
that's what I'm saying. I feel like you're
That's it.
downplaying. It was a good game.
No,
Like, yeah,
I just said it was a good game. They got
no,
the
I think
clean
you were.
sheet, and that it's good enough for us. Like the defense is good enough for us to make a run this
Yeah,
season.
that's what I
That's what
think
I
you.
said. That's
Yeah,
what I said
you're
before
saying it.
you
You're
just said
saying it
this.
a little. Yeah, but you're saying it differently now.
I'm saying it differently now because you just repeated exactly what I said to try and make a point that I didn't say that.
But I went like this, and it matters. All right, so let's get in the second half, and this is interesting from my point of view. So again, I'm on north side. The defense, we were on defense on my side to start. We were
You're
attacking
on
on my
the east
side.
side
Technically, I'm on the west
or
side, but on the
west
north.
side.
But
You're
from
the
the
west
stadium
side.
north south, like I got the attacking on the second half. I didn't really have a great view of the defense in the first half, and it's funny because I got a text right away after the game, sloppy second, but you guys made it through. Got another text this morning, sloppy second. I'm like, I didn't see that. And I'm thinking, and I apologize. I wanted to watch the game at lunch today. This was not a good day at work, so I didn't get a chance to. So, Branton, I know you're a North stand, so you would have seen kind of a similar angle. What were your thoughts on the second half? Because now, when you could watch it from
So
TV, did it
yeah,
change how you thought?
yeah, it absolutely did. Because from in the stadium north stand, I thought it was hard for me to see the defense from where we were, obviously because we were attacking this way or right in front of me. So when I watched it back, it was sloppy. There were a lot of bad passes from the defense where they passed it right to a Salt Lake player. Like it wasn't even. Um, I, I can't even explain it. Like, and I think Toto was probably the main culprit. I think Sergey had one bad pass, but Toto had two. I think that led to what could have been two scoring opportunities, really quickly in the second half, and so that's why. Like I said, it was a good performance. It wasn't great because something that we're going to need to have happen, especially with that high line, is the defenders are going to have to pass the ball. And if you're going to pass it and then pass it right back to the team or you're the other team and you're the last line of defense, it's not going to go well. Yeah, Busquets was involved in it too. Absolutely. And that's why I think when Redondo comes, we're going to push Busquets forward. And I hope we just let him attack and let him facilitate the attacking, distribute the ball, and leave the defending to a real, true CDM at this point. But we had to do it. We had to play Busquets in that role because we just didn't have anybody else that could have had the impact he did.
And I think it's worth calling out again a little bit as the defense was struggling, which couldn't really see, but I'm taking everyone's word for it.
Yeah.
The subs came late. I think we didn't have subs until 70th minute. RSL got
Yeah.
into the subs early. Our first subs, we did see Noah go in for an injured Alvarez, an injured Toto. So that was kind of a forced sub. But
Well,
it did feel like we were late on that once again, which scares me
yeah.
because Tata's got to get better
Well,
about that. And we've known that as an issue.
so right. And so that would be my one criticism. And when we recorded last night, I said I thought he did a great job with the subs because he used them, which is rare to see somebody use all five subs. And I thought he brought the right people in for the positions they were in. But the problem is the team was gassed by the 75th minute. Everybody on that field was gassed, and you could see it starting to come. And Tata waited a little bit too long to make that sub. Suarez, I know he got the assist for that second goal, which was later in the game. They had that great run, but Suarez probably should have come out around the 70th, 75th minute.
So what's interesting on that to kind of add to it. So we all know him first row. Tata did his first subs. I think he did 3 to start in the first round. And then he calls in around the 80th minute Sailor and Campana. And he's got them. You mentioned he had the right sub at the time. He was ready to put those two in. And then all of a sudden, someone went down and he was forced to put Sunderland. I think it was a Biscuits that went down and he was forced to put Sunderland. Like some of those subs were actually more like he didn't have a choice. The game forced him to make subs. It was really interesting. At one point, we only had 2 subs left and he had 3 guys in jersey sitting on the sidelines because it seemed like he was being kind of indecisive on who he wanted to make those subs with. And it still was very late. That was the second round of subs around the 80th, 83rd
So
minute.
I think that kind of goes back to my point. Like, I don't think the team is yet 100% match fit because I think everybody was gassed. I think Tata was probably like, all right, who's the most tired? Who do I need to pull out? Who do I need to worry about? And so I would have liked to have seen him make those subs earlier, particularly Suarez for Campana. You bring Campana in on the 90th minute and there was only 4 minutes of added time. Like you're not giving Suarez the break that he's going to need because now we're going to fly across the country and play a game over the weekend.
And I'll throw out, and I know there's kind of coaching philosophy here. You're making a sub of bringing Campana in on the 83rd minute. We were up 2-0 at that point. Like, was bringing in Campana the best move or another midfielder to kind of try to take the ball off and control it a little bit? Like, I know the great, American football.
I don't think we had another midfielder at that point.
I'm sure we had someone on the bench.
Ruiz was already subbed on. Sunderland went on. The only guys left on the bench, I think, were Sailor, Izzy Boatwright, and
I would have put Boatwright. I mean, Boatwright can play that position. Again, you're really
you
stalling.
Also make his debut, like young guy, and at that point we only had the 1 goal.
No, when he went in, I think we had the 2nd goal already. Because he came in really late.
No, you're right, because I was advocating for Campana to come in before we got that 2nd goal. But yeah, I guess you could have put him in, but
Yeah, I'm just looking at. No, Mota was in. Mota was in because the first group was Mota, Allen, and was Borgelin at that point? Or Ruiz. There's Mota, Ruiz, and Allen went in initially. So then you had, again, to start before, and I'm going to say before the injury, you had Sunderland who could have gone in. So it could have been Sailor and Sunderland. But again, you had Campana was the first guy out there. You had Izzy. And you could have done Sunderland and Sailor. And again, I'm just saying, like, it just seems like
it's odd.
I know, again, you want to have a good offense could be your best defense a lot, and I get that. But it just doesn't feel like that's like, I just think there's more thought than there should have been there. By the way, let's call it the 2nd goal. There was the 2nd goal. Diego Gomez, our new favorite Paraguayan, took a ball off of Suarez and just drained into the back of the net. By the way, Messi and Suarez had assists, no goals from the top big 4. And we had our U22 and original have goals, which I think is a win. That's a huge win. Everyone is expecting that bought, not built, right? Like, your big guys are going to be the only ones scoring goals. And here is our originals and a U22 scoring goals. So it's huge.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to have other guys score goals other than the big 4 because the big 4 are not going to be available every game. And, when Messi's away at Copa, like, someone's got to step up. And so it's nice to see Robbie Taylor get his goal, Gomez get his goal. And Gomez brought some of the physicality that he had at the World Cup, saying World Cup, the Olympic qualifiers. He is big. And he was pushing around like, I say kids, but I mean, I guess they kind of are kids in Olympic qualifying. Like, he was very physical and he out-muscled the center back to get in and score that goal, which was impressive. And so, like, we talked about it in the preseason finale, like, hey, he made the runs, he put himself in the positions, he just didn't finish. But we saw the finish last night. It was a hell of a finish. and he was, to me, that was the man of the match. I thought after watching it back, I didn't feel like that at the time watching it live, but watching it back and seeing the way he was positioning himself and the runs he was making, man of the match for sure. But
Again,
you
I
know,
didn't see this. I think the second half was played out a lot out
if
front of. I'm
if
not
you
going
would
to
have saw
disagree with that. Yeah, I'm not
if
going to
you would
disagree with
watch
your
the
statement
second
there.
half, like Toto had a really good first half, but if you watch the second half, it was
You have
enough to
trouble.
just say like you, you didn't have it in the second half. But he's young. He's going to
Yeah.
make mistakes, and it didn't cost us, which is important. So he
I
can
will
learn
say
and move on.
again, going back to the first half, Arango looked frustrated all night. Well, the first half night, like the second chance,
Yeah,
but he looked really frustrated. And you go back to everyone saying our center backs are going to be our weakness. And Arango, one of the better number nines in the league, being that frustrated is a sign of good things to come, right? Like this
yeah,
isn't our starting pair. Frere, gonna butcher it again. Actually, now I think I'm just gonna start butchering because I think it upsets Mike V. Frere is going to be a starting center back. Redondo is going to be a starting CDM. So, if we look at kind of that defensive triangle, only one of the starters is there so far. And yet there is Arango just frustrated,
yeah,
cursing, rolling on the ground. I think that's exciting too, because we are going to get better in that kind of back three of the defense.
yeah. And in watching it back, I'm glad I didn't watch this game on TV. I'm glad I was in the stadium for it because Taylor Twellman is so goddamn annoying.
I heard
I
that. One of
I
my friends said the same thing to me
I
this morning.
can't I can't do it. Like he was like, "Oh, Suarez's knees, and I know he scored 26 goals in Brazil, but this is MLS. It's more physical. This is the better league." Like shut the hell up, man. Like just analyze what's happening or better yet, let's just have peace and quiet. Or get me Ray Hudson.
Man, that's
That's
the
all I
Japan
want.
game when there was no announcing was awesome. It was so quiet. You just got
Those
to
games
watch
are
the
so
match.
cool. I
You were
love
asleep for
that.
that game, but it was really cool. No, you did wake up.
No,
You
I
had the
love
baby.
games, yeah,
You had the kid.
but I
Yeah.
love games like that. Like that's the way to do it. But yeah, it was great. It was a great win. I have forgotten what it was like to dominate possession while also doing something with the ball
Yeah.
because normally we dominate possession and that's it. Like, oh, we had 60% of the possession, but we had one shot and it wasn't even on goal.
And
But
it's
we pressed and we did good things.
so two more notes on the game. Kind of first off, so we had 16 shots. I was talking to my buddy Terry today, and one of the things I was saying, because we were both commenting that the team tends to take an extra pass inside the 18. There's always that one little tiki taka pass. And normally I get really frustrated, but when you have
It
16
worked.
shots, like we were actually
Yeah.
making the pass. Like if you looked against Saudi Arabia and some of the other games, we'd make that extra pass and it would go nowhere. We were making the extra pass, taking the shot, and many of those shots, like I don't know how many on goal, but many of the shots were going on goal. So I think that's exciting. Like it
Yeah.
made it a little more fun. I am concerned we'll revert back to not taking the shot, which would be bad. The other piece I want to say, kind of my last thoughts in this game, this was an awesome atmosphere. It was probably the most fun atmosphere I can kind of remember in times, but we talked about expecting this to be the most electric atmosphere. I think you and I kind of covered. I don't remember if we covered that in the show last night or just you and I talking.
Yeah, we did.
It
We
wasn't
talked
it
about it
wasn't
last
the
night.
most electric. Like you didn't have the entire stands trying to chant along. The I'm gonna be honest, La Familia did not get the crowd going, in my opinion. You could hear the band the whole night, like it sounded great, but you didn't have the stomping, you didn't have that kind of going. So I think there's some more room to do with all of our new fans, kind of getting
Yeah.
them more into the game because they're not there yet.
I think it's that. It's also a Wednesday night game. That was tough. Yeah, Mike, I agree with you there. He really is. He's garbage. But and I think come Orlando, like it's gonna come. I think I'm expecting that to be a very, very big atmosphere. But I also think we're kind of seeing some of the ramifications of the price increase, right?
Yeah.
And the restriction of the supporters groups to just the two sections. Um, when you raise the prices, you restrict their sections. some
I
people just aren't going to be able to afford to go anymore.
I
And
get
so,
that, but then I think, hopefully, and everyone's learning from it, right? Like the club's learning from last night, the supporter groups. You start to ask yourselves, okay, how can the supporter group noise? We've always been made fun of for broadcasting noise, but it always kind of worked. I don't know if they were broadcasting noise last night. It didn't sound like there was broadcast noise. I didn't have that little tinge of an echo I usually hear. But I just think there's some work to be done over the next couple of games to figure out how we get it more of us into
well,
it.
and so let's be honest, like it was pretty cavernous there for several seasons when we've had some really great atmospheres. And so it's easier to hear the band when that's the case, when you have a full house like we do, and a lot of the fans there, um, it probably was one of their first times coming to the stadium. So, I think that'll improve over time. I
Yeah.
think the band did everything they could. I think the supporters groups are great. Everybody was participating where I was. And
You're in the supporter
so,
section. That doesn't count.
yeah. No, but what I'm saying is like I wouldn't say that the supporters groups have a lot of work to do on that. I think it's people getting more familiar with the stadium and with what we're doing.
Well, I think that's a tie. I think the supporter groups do have more work too, but I also think they need to partner with the club a little bit. And you and I know the club partners, and we talk to them, and I think that's a little. It's like it takes a village, right? I think everyone's got to get it a little bit.
Yeah, but
It could be just throwing this out there. Supporters guys at handing out things at the stands, like, hey, here's the song, here's when you clap, like trying to get it out there. Back in the day, it was like when we were originally OGs. It was like go to this website and you could learn the songs. That's not going to happen, especially as Hoffman made like the comment that we're more corporate now. You're going to have to be a little more force fed some of this stuff, and I also think the stadium loudspeaker is going to have to come in. Hey, get on your feet, do this thing. Like we're going to have to do it a little when we're going to be a very transient fan base.
yeah, I think so too. And I couldn't hear it, and it was something I was trying to listen for. What was the stadium announcer like?
He was good. I
Was he
liked
good?
him.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually thought to myself. I remember thinking to myself, his announcement of team player names and stuff was very energetic. Like he was very. I wasn't Mike Marinelli was our first one, if I remember the guy's name
Yeah, he
correctly.
was the best.
I don't think he's quite Mike Marinelli, but I had no complaints about the announcements themselves. Like they were
Okay.
very energetic announcements. It was more of more announcements, like using what we can to try to get people going. And
Yeah,
again, I
well, I
think
think
I think the
that's
supporter group's got to get around the stadium a little bit more to help out.
but well, I think so too, but I also think that's harder now when you've got people checking tickets everywhere, and so
Again, I think that's the partnership working with the
yeah,
representatives from the club. Like there's I'm sure there's things we can do. Like
yeah.
I know on the east side they're allowed to hang flags. We've seen that. There's a Southern Legion flag on the east zone. So I'm guessing they could also get some guys walking around and getting the crowd cheered up. Like I hate to use the phrase cheerleaders because that's not what I want, but I want people to lead the cheers.
Yeah. Well, I disagree with that. I don't think it's a job of the supporters groups to go to other sections and lead the cheers. I don't. No other club does that. That's
I
that's not what we do.
we
That
are,
that's not.
but let's be clear. There's no other club like us right now.
But you're
We're a
asking you're
very
asking
corporate club with
supporters.
no.
You're asking people from the supporters groups to come over and lead cheers and not watch the game at all and just lead
Yeah,
cheers
now
in the
I'm gonna
sections.
call
It's
that out. I've
it's
watched. I've been in the supporter groups. I've watched people in the supporter section never once watch the field, have their back to the field the whole time, and run that thing. So
yeah,
don't
but that's
say
not
they're not
that's
willing to
but
ignore the game to get the crowd noise going.
you're gonna go by yourself and go and try and get the crowd going in the
Dude,
northwest.
I just I'm more
It's not gonna
thinking. Okay,
happen, man.
let's be clear. The Northwest is probably never gonna, but the East Side can, and the South Side can.
And I
Let's
think they
let's get
will over
Danny.
time.
Let's get
I think
Danny
they
and
will
Chris
over
there leading
time.
some cheers. They got the South Side. We can get them some cheerleading outfits, and they'll do it.
Listen, listen, it'll come with time. Like I said, with the new season ticket prices and stuff, I think a lot of those people, it's their first or second time in the stadium, and they'll learn over time, and we'll get there. But it was great. I thought everything was good.
Yeah,
I have
I'm
no
just.
complaints with that.
Hey, you got to nitpick some of the passing and defense in the first half. I'm nitpicking some of the crowd and in the game, so we're gonna
Well,
nitpick a
the
little.
that passing
All right.
could have led to
So
goals.
so we've got a pretty quick turnaround. We played last night. Hopefully those guys get more sleep than we are, because I know I'm still tired from last night. But they are playing Sunday against the LA Galaxy. And I was, as I was doing research, I always think of LA Galaxy being one of those predominant clubs in MLS. Like, it's the LA Galaxy. All right, so let's cover who the LA Galaxy have been. They haven't made the playoffs in 2 years. They were 13th in the Western Conference last year, 26th in the Supporter Shield standings. By the way, Inter Miami was 27. So kind of like, if you remember last season's MLS season, they were right above us. Only 8 wins, 14 losses, 12 ties. For Leagues Cup, they didn't even advance out of group. And for USOC, interestingly enough, they made it to quarterfinals and lost to our new friends at Real Salt Lake. Incoming, so they brought in this. So let's talk about outgoing was Chicho Hernandez. Everyone knows Chicho. He went to Chivas. He's playing for someone in Liga MX. And Tyler Boyd, their top goal scorer, with a total of 4 goals. To be fair, Campana, who I bitch about, had more than double that last year. Tyler Boyd was the top goal scorer, and he's now gone. They brought
Tyler
in
Boyd is a good player.
He
Didn't score. It wasn't. Yeah,
but I'm just saying that was their top goal scorer.
He's going to score more than that with Nashville now.
All right. They brought in a new goalkeeper, the one and only John McCarthy, who I love. John, I was super excited to see him win. Big John. I was super excited to see him win MLS Cup 2 years ago when he stepped in. I think it was a great performance. But he's not in the top 10 goalkeepers in MLS. Let's just not pretend otherwise. They brought in 2 wingers, Gabriel Chavez and Joseph Poncil. I'm probably butchering it. One from Vasco da Gama, the other from Ghent. A right back, and then another striker, Miguel Berry from Atlanta, who's pretty good. But clearly you saw in their movement during the offseason, they are trying to become a much more attacking club. A little bit left, and I'll just kind of finish reading my notes. In the preseason, or practice as it's known, they played 5 matches of practice, 3 losses to start. Then that was St. Louis, which was a pretty good team. Charlotte and Austin. Tied New York City FC, and then their final game of the preseason was they beat the Red Bulls. Overall, it's hard not to look at this as not even a mid team, but a team that's historically been bottom of the barrel. But I think you can't look past anyone. So I covered all the details. Branton, jump in. Where do you want to?
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, they strengthened the attack, but their defense is atrocious. And they did nothing to improve on that. When I tell you, like, their defense would make our defense from 2 or 3 years ago look good. This is a game we should win easily. I do not expect it to be a dogfight like it was with Salt Lake. Real put the ball in the places, they put the pressure on us, they were hard on us. Their defense held a lot better than I probably thought they would have in our pregame show, but their LA Galaxy is a very easy team to score on, and I like our chances if we're going to get into a gunfight. I think it's very easy for us to put 3 or 4 goals past them, and I just don't see us conceding 3 or 4 goals, even with some sloppy defensive errors like we saw in the second half against Salt Lake.
And to add to that, this is their first game.
Mm-hmm.
You have a whole new, really offensive, attacking side of their ball who don't have a lot of time playing together yet. And so I think to add to that, they're going to be challenged to really attack us and like play as a team. Now, I will tell you the scary thing. We've got no tape. We don't know what they're going to look like. We don't know, like, there's not a lot for them to look at and go, this is what they're probably going to line up as essentially a whole new team. You look at with Tata, you kind of know what to expect. With our starting, our big 4, you know what to expect. I think there's more tape on who we are than what they are. And you also have, obviously, last night. So I always think coming into those, I just always feel like coming into those games when you can only predict based on like a lot of historical data, but nothing like recent. It's always a little bit of a crapshoot. And you can sometimes, Tata, and Neville both sometimes had a way of overthinking their lineups. Like they do something funny with their lineup because they're expecting something that doesn't happen. I'm a little worried Tata is going to overthink this lineup a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. But I I don't think so. I think he could just put out the same lineup we did
I hope he
against
does.
RSL, and we're fine.
Yeah, no, I'm totally good with the same lineup.
There,
I am
there,
concerned he
there.
won't.
Well, there are rumors that he won't, only because people are reporting that Redondo could be available Sunday. I don't know how that's possible to get a work visa that quickly, but if he's got it and he's suiting up, like let's do it. But
Yeah, and I don't.
so that'll be something to keep an eye on as the week continues.
I'm not expecting Redondo for this game. I originally, I know at the beginning of the week I was. He doesn't have his work visa yet. The game might be in 3 days, but he's only got a day to get it because I'm pretty sure most government agencies don't work on the weekends. So I don't think we'll see Redondo. So I think we have every opportunity to start starting lineup. Again, Toto was a little injured. Someone else had a slight looked like that a slight tweak too. So that could be a change. But I am hoping to see our same starting 11. I know we don't want to over tire out everyone, but at the same time, a little more playing time for them because we are also getting real near some of those CCC games we need to be ready for.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't be upset if we saw like Suarez on the bench in this game, let Campana start, and then bring Suarez in towards the end of the game, because I think you have to start. It's a cross country flight, and playing on short. We're the only team that's played. Well, us and Real are going to be the only two teams that have played midweek and then played on the weekend, and so. I'm okay if he wants to rest a guy like Suarez. You still have his firepower on the bench if you need it. But yeah, I expect us to handle this pretty easily. The
And we
only
do have
guy
a
that
full
worries
week
me
off
on their team is Puig.
Yeah, man. When he's at his best, he's at his best.
Yeah,
But he doesn't have but even I mean, all the rumors was he was trying to leave because they weren't putting people around him. And
yeah,
I
but
gotta
then
look
he
I gotta look at
doubled
the
down on that. He put out that video where he's like, "I love LA" or whatever, and it was like this whole thing.
Yeah, but that's either the club making him or his
I
PR
I don't
manager.
I
He
don't
didn't
think
make
a
it
club's
himself.
gonna make you do that.
They will strongly encourage you to do things sometimes. Like he's not that big a superstar where can't be a little bit, you know,
Don't tell
do
him that.
yeah, I know, but I'm not. He's not. Listen, I want more and more to watch the show, but I don't think our
Yeah,
opponent's players are yet watching us.
no.
But just a reminder, we do have a full week off after this game. So we got LA, playing LA, and that's a full week. But then we got the home match, Orlando at home, and the busy season starts. So we got coming up the March is Orlando at home, midweek game for CONCACAF CCC. Then we've got Montreal at home. Then we got another midweek game where we got CCC, and then we've got DC on our way. So after this game, shit gets real. It gets real really fast. So I would rather us do our starting 11, take the week to rest, because this is our last chance to really before. Like it's going to be
I'd
tough.
rather
You
us
gotta
go a
think.
little lighter in this game because we can win this pretty easy. And I would be okay with like a Suarez on the bench. Um, one or two of them, Busquets. If Redondo's here, I'm okay with Busquets resting as well. Because we're gonna go all in on Orlando. I don't
It's
see
really
us
sucks.
not going hard at home, and then we're gonna go hard in CCC. So I think this is the game you could see some squad rotation in.
By the way, can I call out for a club that MLS is supposed to be protecting and doing all these wonderful things for because we've got Messi scheduling in a 4-day time span our rival and a CCC match is bullshit, right? Like these are
Mm.
two matches we got to go all out on. Like we're
Yeah,
supposed to
but
be
see,
cheating. Like we're supposed to be cheating. They're supposed to be
see,
helping us, and they're
but
not doing that. And that annoys me.
I don't buy into that because the players don't give two shits about playing Orlando. It's another team for them. We as fans
I
put a lot
disagree.
more.
No,
You're wrong.
I will.
You're
Can I
wrong.
give evidence?
No, because you're
Okay,
wrong.
so I
There's
can't give
so many
evidence.
players. There's so many players who've come out and said, like, we would, rivalry is a fan thing.
I'm
It's not
sorry that
really
Liverpool
about us.
Liverpool players don't care about your rivalries. That's not my problem though. When Messi showed up against Orlando last year, he made it quite clear that this was a rivalry game. He showed up with a different look and a grudge.
Yeah,
Remember, he
because
pulled
what's
the
he gonna
yellow card.
say?
He got a yellow card that no, I'm talking about what was in the match. I think when he had one of his only yellow cards last season was in the Orlando match for causing trouble and shit talking. He clearly treated this like a rivalry game. So I do think the players know it's a rivalry game and it matters.
I
Even if it
think
doesn't
they
matter to them, they
know,
know it
but
matters
it's
to the
not.
fans.
Yeah, but I don't. I think as a fan, like, we put
I'm
more
not okay.
emphasis on it than them,
I-
and
I'm not
so
disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with that statement. We do put more on them, but I think to say that they don't put any emphasis on it is also wrong. They know it's a rivalry game. They know it
they put
matters to the
very
fans.
little. They put very little
I
emphasis
mean,
on it.
Messi put enough to get a yellow card on it last game. So I think you're underselling a
I
little bit
think
there.
I think it had more to do with the way Orlando was playing him than
Like they were so you're
than
saying it was like
him
Orlando
not
was
wanting
treating
to
it like a
win.
rivalry game and that they cared
No,
a little bit more to be
Orlando. Listen, it's just like I said before. Every team is going to come out and play us like it's their Super Bowl, and everybody's going to want to stop Messi and get
no,
in his head and push him
that's not
around, and that's
that
what.
never happened. That kind of shit talk and trashing, we didn't see in a lot of other games last year. Orlando was special.
Like, I love that you think that Messi
It
like came
was,
here and he's like, oh yeah, Orlando, I'm gonna shit talk the hell out of him.
but he did. But he did. Like you can't say he didn't do it. He did it.
He did that, but he didn't do it because that's our rival.
You don't think Yedlin and Calendar were saying pregame and practice, hey, this means a lot to the fans. It's a way to ingrain yourself, blah, 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 blah. They of course they
Oh,
were. Yes, they
Messi
were.
doesn't have to ingrain himself with the fans.
Then why did he do it?
You're insane.
He did it.
Oh my god.
He did it. You're like ignoring the fact that it happened. You're like, oh, that didn't really happen,
I'm
but it
not
did.
ignoring the fact that it happened, but I think you're reading into why it happened a lot more.
No, I think they care. Again, I'm not going to say they care about it more than the fans. That's not true. But I think they respect that this is a special game. They push themselves to a different level for.
I disagree.
The
I don't think
problem is
Messi's a competitor, man. I don't think he looks at any other team higher than another. I think he goes out to win every game.
mid-season. This is our thing. Mid-season, when we finally can figure out how to get back to our original parking spot, because I feel like we'll get there by mid-season. We are going to make a little poll. Ask every player as they walk by, do you care about the Orlando City game?
So we're going to ask like the two injured players.
Yeah, why not? At least it's a player. It's better than having no player. It's better than respecting your opinion. Again, you are jaded as a Liverpool fan, man.
I'm not jaded as a Liverpool fan.
Clearly.
I think the only players that care about rivalries anywhere near as much as fans do are players that grew up as fans of those clubs.
Yeah, we don't have any of those players. So
no. Well, I think it's possible that like a guy like Noah Allen or Benja Kromashki, they played even when they were at Weston, I'm sure they played against the academy teams from Orlando. So I'm sure those guys probably have more passion than like a Messi would for this.
So speaking of this, total tangent. I got to talk about something stupid the club did. So you and I know parents of players in the club. We've chatted with them, we talked to them. But we know because we've interacted and learned and stuff like that. This year, the club introduced like VIP badges. So the parents always had VIP badges. So you couldn't tell it was a VIP versus another VIP. Though apparently Will Smith was in the stadium. So I probably would have been able to tell Will Smith. This year, instead of a VIP badge, they now have family member on it and their name. So I'm sitting at the Northwest Club and I look up and there's Kromowski's dad. How did I know that? Because it says family member and Kromowski on it. So I got to say, hey, how's Ben Ha doing? And I'm chatting with him. And I'm just thinking to myself, for a club that's really trying to improve security, this isn't it.
Yeah, that's not a good move. I didn't realize they did that. That's funny.
Yeah, it's brand new. This is the first time they did that. I was just laughing at that because I'm like, this is really kind of stupid, guys. Like, this is how
So yeah, it is stupid, but it's like we all know where Campana's family is because it's like
They all look
there's like
alike.
5 or 6 of them, and they all have Campana's jerseys on. So,
I
but
get it.
this just confirms who they are, and
Right.
you
And
can always suspect. Like I think that's Leo's dad or
but the
whatever.
other piece is, think about the drunk fan. Not me and you, drunk fan, which though we clearly are the drunk fans, but like the
Well,
drunk angry fan and Suarez, and let's just say we'll pick on Benha because that's whose dad I was talking to. Benha misses an open and costless game, and all of a sudden, guy walks by, family member Kramaski, and now they're being harassed. So I do feel, again, this is just pretty. Just gets a
yeah,
weird tangent, but it's a pretty dumb move of the club.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. I couldn't defend that. I couldn't
Yeah, see,
defend it at all.
Joe's the guy I was referring to who attacks players' dads.
Yeah, that's him.
But yeah,
He
I just
also he
yesterday I
also
was like, this is
started a new
stupid.
business. I don't know if you heard about this.
I heard he was doing some North Stand babysitting.
Yeah, dude made like $50. He was up there babysitting some kid while his dad went and got
All
a
right,
beer or something.
we wanted to go a little bit shorter because both of you and I were a little exhausted from last night. So let's start out. Predictions. What are you thinking tomorrow? Sunday.
4-1.
Hmm.
4-1, good guys.
I am going to keep my 3-1 prediction from last match. Good guys as well. I think we lose the clean sheet. I do think we score a little bit more. I'm not ready to start saying 4-goal games yet, but I'm going to keep on hoping for 3. I think we easily could have had 3 this week, and on paper, RSL was the better team than LA. So I'm going to go 3-1. Joe Kerr getting in there with a 2-0. Oh, I think we both have to show it.
Yeah.
Joe Kerr, we're going with a 2-0 once again. Anyone else want to come up with a prediction? Mike V. Call some names. Hoffmat, you want to jump in? Give him a second. No.
I think.
All right, everyone's tired. All right,
Yeah.
Branton.
Yeah.
I see you're wearing something new.
The new hat. I love it. I saw it and I fell in love.
Is there anything on the side of it, the back of it? What we got there? We got to do a fashion show. It's a part of this show.
So it's I do hate this. It's a snapback.
Snapbacks are the best.
No. It's got to be flex fit or fitted. That's it. But Inter Miami has never really had fitted hats. So pink tie-dye with the black herons in the middle.
Nice
Love
hat.
it. White on the sides. It's great.
Not for sale online yet because
great.
I went looking today. I've got like $27 in fan cash. I was going to buy it today, and it's not there.
I've been looking. I think it was like, I want to say it was 30, 35, something like that.
God, the hats hat, the Leagues Cup hat, I think it was 40 or $45. The hats have gotten ridiculously expensive.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. Anybody who watches me do Marlins knows I've got 1.5 million hats, and they all cost me like $50 each. So,
all right, so kind of wrapping up. Anyone got any questions for us? We wanted to go a little earlier. We are actually running a little early, though. Who knows what happens? But anyone got anything to wrap up? Finish it off.
Hoffman agrees with me.
4-1. 45. Yeah, 45 for that Leagues Cup. That was expensive. It's great. I love this hat. And I actually refuse to wear it to games because I don't want to get all sneaky and sweaty. Like I'm trying to just protect it.
Yeah.
It's an awesome hat. And I know I said I don't think we'll get another one, but I hope we can get another one next year. By the way, just as a tangent, I just got to throw this out there. After hearing everyone bitch about Inter Miami ticket prices, did you see some of these Copa prices that came out today? Like $250 for upper stands and shit. Like,
welcome
it's
to America.
Really bad. It's really because I know I'm going to at least 2 games, and I am genuinely nervous for the price I'm going to end up paying for these tickets.
Yeah, well, get ready for World Cup. This is just the tip. Wait till those World Cup tickets drop.
Well, I'm going to, if anyone's interested, I am going to the U.S. men's game in Atlanta versus Panama. I know that. And then I stupidly put down the deposit on some Copa Finals tickets So I'm kind of hoping that I'm going to end up just flipping them and buying a new
Mm,
car.
yeah. Yeah. With your luck, it'll be like two teams that nobody's interested in.
Yeah, Joker got Copa tickets, $250 for nosebleeds, Argentina, Peru. Like that's
Nice.
again, and how much did we hear complaining about Inter Miami and Messi and season like it has gotten this gets expensive in America, folks.
It does. I looked into because I was gonna try and do it before Jurgen retires, but I did look into flying over and going to a game in Liverpool. And hospitality tickets, which are basically like Northwest Club tickets, I could have gotten for like $150.
Yeah, I'm
And
going to
sat
Chelsea.
like right on field level. So that
I gotta say, I will say I'm doing Chelsea hospitality. I'm doing a package that looks identical to Northwest Club, and it was like
yeah,
£300 for the match per
yeah.
ticket. They had some lower, cheaper
They had
versions, and they had
nicer
more expensive.
ones, yeah.
Man, there's one package. It was 1,500 for it. So if you think about 1,500, you're kind of now talking about what we do for Lowe's, except not only did you get the food, the wine, the drinks, and all that, you sat right behind the players. Like every time the camera
Yeah,
shows the players, you were
there
going
you
to be
were.
there and like could
Yeah,
throw paper at your team or the opposing team. The opposing is clearly cheaper, but like that I looked at, and again, I know TJ, if he's still awake, is listening to this. He's like, "Why didn't Dad do that?" Because it was really expensive. It was still $1,500, and I wasn't going to spend that money. Uh,
yeah.
but it's they're I know the regular European tickets are cheap, but they are slowly starting to figure out that American business model to the detriment of everyone.
Mm, yes and no. I think because those teams have been around for so long, like the supporters have a lot
Yeah,
of
no.
power.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like
It's
ticket prices have not raised in England in a very long time.
that's what I'm saying. Like the main seats aren't going to change, but they're going to figure out where they can squeeze it and start finding those little spots where they can really have some fun with it.
Yeah, I don't know if they need to. I think they're making a ton of money without
Everyone
doing it.
needs to everyone needs to make more money, my friend.
Well, we'll
I
see.
hope they don't. Like, listen, I don't. I'm not pushing for this. Like, I'm not. You're not going to start arguing with me that I'm not pushing for. I'm just saying.
Todd Bowie whispering in your ear over there, and
just
uh,
just
he's gonna go buy another seagull.
all right. So wrap it up. We got two games we're watching Sunday. Obviously 9 p.m. Eastern, Inter Miami at LA Galaxy.
Yep.
Then the kind of the breakfast for the day, we are going to see Chelsea win the cup over Liverpool to start out the morning. So excited for that start.
Hilarious. We will not see that happen.
Hey Hoffman, the question. So Hoffman just asked us, did you guys get the Inter Miami survey on tickets? We did. We covered that. I want to say two. Was that two? Was that last?
3 episodes ago, I think.
Yeah. It is scary, like really scary. I was trying to do kind of cost comparisons from my seat. Basically, if I look at like one of the cost comparisons was basically without Messi. And so if you think about without Messi being what we paid last year, it was 3 times last year's prices, and that was without a superstar player. So I am extremely concerned for next year because I or not next year MFP because it does look like they're going to continue to raise in the prices. I know personally, I said in this episode, I'm looking up which episode it was right now. I personally had hoped that we were paying like the MFP price hike is what we just paid going into this season. That survey makes me think it does not. It's not. It's gonna be. And by the way, it was episode 11 is where we went into this. I just found out for sure. So it was episode 11. But I think we have another price hike coming in 2 years.
Yeah. And if that's the case, I will be watching from my couch.
Yeah, and Mike V saying
Not
kind of same
paying
thing.
those prices. Yeah.
160 are going to be considered club seats. They would be double what I paid last year and triple for the year before. So yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like expecting our price. Like now, it's all presumptive. They may get the results, and when even their corporate people are going, "No, I'm not going to pay this," they maybe rethink it, and that has happened before. Maybe not with this club, but it's happened with other clubs.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't want to like get the pitchforks and
No,
torches out yet, but
listen,
it was a little nerve wracking.
we've got the season on us. It looks
Yeah.
like we're off to a good start. So no point in getting upset about that yet. When it happens, if it happens, you can be assured that we will rant like nobody's business.
Hey, and let me throw this out there, if I could, just for a second. There
Please.
are some clubs that have season ticket holder groups, supporter councils. What's the supporter trusts? I just think that's something that people that listen to this show and members of the club may want to start thinking about in the future, because that is a way to
they will listen.
That is a way to have an impact on these kind of things. So just throwing that out there, planting some seeds, starting from scratch, but something that I think that this club could desperately get. So I don't know. On that note, as you're shaking your hand, not positively supporting your best friend, you can kind of
I'm
cut
not
out.
going to get into it, because anybody who's been around Inter Miami knows I put a lot of work into trying to get that started, and nobody's interested. And so
you now have a bully pulpit to speak from to help us get there. So
yeah,
we'll
but
go. I got faith.
most of the people buying those tickets don't care.
All right, so we will not do another show until probably Monday or Tuesday next week, unless some
Correct.
crazy something comes out beforehand. I can't imagine
Unless
happening.
Messi gets traded to Nashville.
Yeah, I would probably do a show about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will go Monday or Tuesday. One other thing,
Yeah.
if you haven't watched our live show from last night, it's a pretty short show, just 10-minute show. Make sure to give it a check out and let us know what you think of it. We know the audio wasn't great. We're still figuring that out, but we'd love
I
some
wouldn't
feedback.
say let us know what you think of it, because it's going to be totally different next time.
No, I want the feedback. I want the feedback.
No, the feedback that's come in already is like, it's
It was
all
great.
anti me.
Well, perfect. That's the best feedback. If it's anti him, please broadcast it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or your favorite social media.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's wrap this
Another
up. Get
thing
to bed.
before
we're not
we
doing it.
wrap up,
Trying
please.
to go to
We
bed.
are at 97 subscribers on YouTube. I would love it if we can get to the even 100 before our next episode. So please share it with your friends. We made
Parents,
some cool context in the parking lot. Friends, parents, anybody
your
interested in
babysitter,
Miami, just
your
send it out.
babysitter's parents, your kid.
Yeah. Yeah. TJ.
Random guy at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Just get them to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Hit that like and subscribe button.
Yeah. Let's just get to the even 100, and that helps us gain some traction, and we can keep doing some fun stuff. But thank you guys for participating today. It's been great. We'll be back next week to hopefully talk about another Inter Miami win.